Okay, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar, which is hosted by the Organization Development and Change and Workforce Education Development Program at Penn State. This is a monthly webinar, as all of you know, presented during our lunch hour and our timing. My name is Isa Al-Walushi. I'm a PhD candidate in the Workforce Education and Development Program at Penn State, and I will be moderating today's webinar along with my colleague, Jose Sandoval, who is also a PhD candidate in Learning Design and Technology program at Penn State. In terms of the interactive format for this webinar, please use the chat feature in the Zoom platform. If you have any questions about the presentation, please use the chat feature on Zoom. You can also see the chat button at the bottom of the screen. The QA session will be at the end of the presentation, the last 10 minutes of the presentation. Regarding our program, our online Master of Professional Studies in Organization Development and Change are designed for professionals like you who need the skills and knowledge to effectively lead their change in their organizations. Furthermore, there is a master degree and PhD programs also in workforce education development with concentration and focus in human resource development and organizational development. Today, our program has created a continuous monthly webinar series with experts around the world. Today, we are presenting one of the interesting presentations, which is the leading strategic change and development presented by Dr. Fahad Al-Shawan. Dr. Fahad Al-Shawan is one of our program alumni, so we are so excited to have him with us today. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming our speaker today. Dr. Al-Shawan, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Isa, and I'm really excited about this and giving back to Penn State where I graduated and take all the, what I learned there. So thank you very much all. And thanks for, all the participants who joined this webinar. I'm really honored to present here. So as you can see here in, a brief about my background, I'm working now as a Senior Organization Development Specialist in Bechtel. I hold my PhD from this program, actually, the Workforce Education and Development, focusing on organization development and change. And I have, some diverse background. I, work in entrepreneurship. I work in education, as well as management consulting over the, course of 15 years and more. So the topic today is about leading strategic change and development. And I choose this topic because of the, the nature of the workplace and market today. So in today's fast-paced business world, the traditional playbook for setting goals and managing change simply doesn't cut it. The market is continually actually changing, and we need strategies that can not only adapt but thrive in change. So traditional change management approaches, while useful, frequently fall short of addressing the day-to-day shifts we face. So that's why I really like to call, instead of just emphasizing in change management, which is very important, and the skills there is really important, but also we need to little bit shift to change leadership. And so what is required, that's why what's required now, because of the changing marketing and the workplace today, is an OD approach to lead strategic change and development. It is not just about adapting to change, it is about steering it in a direction that corresponds to today's realities and needs. So this necessitates a distinct leadership style also. That empowers teams to confront challenges and change collaboratively. So in this webinar, I will try to not bore you with the complicated theories or tools, even though all PhDs sometimes do that. But rather, I will take a high-level look at the steps and elements that are critical for leading strategic change and development. Consider it as a roadmap for navigating the process with a quick overview of useful tools for each step. I don't want to also dig deep in these tools because if you just know the tools, you can search about it and you will maybe learn a lot about it. But the real is, the most important is to have the context and how to use these tools in this process of developing and change. So, and also not every element and tool is applicable in all circumstances. However, as a leader, it is your responsibility to determine which tools are useful and which elements need to be emphasized. So I actually developed this kind of model. I put the process, as you can see the arrow here, for improving the process of leading strategic change and development. And in the middle, you will see the elements, the most important elements need to be touched and ensure the maturity of them. So if you can see here, for example, the strategy and alignment, many times they say strategy and execution or implementation. But I said alignment because when you do any initiatives or programs and empower your teams to do things, you need also to ensure them the alignment with the strategy and goals. And also we will focus in some aspects in the strategy which is need to be considered for more, let's say, agility and effectiveness in dealing with changes. And a part of it, or maybe the most important one, is the unique capabilities. Actually, capabilities and benefits that are unique. So looking for capabilities and features that distinguish the firm from competitors and allow the firm continue developing its competitive advantages by refining its unique capabilities. Instead of emphasizing the competitive advantage or a really good product, and so emphasize the capabilities and competencies as unique features. So the firm be able to use these capabilities to develop different products and services that reflect to the client and market changing needs. And also we will touch about organization culture, organization design, and team building. And I will explain a little bit why those different, because let's say it right now, for some organization, they doesn't need to dig in deep in organization design, while others, and just enough for them the team building and have effective teams. However, many organizations, which is big and huge, know the needs actually not only team building, but also a well organization design setup. And we will touch also the business model as a important part for any organization. So here is kind of, try to summarize the topics where some toolkits will be discussed in high level during the development process in this webinar. So we will talk about, effective team member, client understanding, aspirations, overall strategy, business model, strategic implementation, organization design, organizational culture, as well as organizational excellence. So, and each of them will try to, have some tool, and maybe will not dig in deep as I mentioned, but we will focus on the most important aspects of these tools in this process of leading strategic change and development. So first, I want to show you, we talk about this model. So the first one is connecting, emphasizing. So I put number 1, number 2, number 3. So that's why you see numbers here. So first here is the connecting and emphasizing. So when embarking on a new project or business or developing a new strategy or developing your own strategy to be more effective to the market, concentrate on assembling a robot team, actually, and effective team to lead collaboratively rather than depending on one leader. So you need the whole team work collaboratively as a leader together. So choose team members very carefully and create a culture rooted in trust, relationships, compassion, motivation, and shared focus on what you want to achieve. And that's why actually here for the team the effectiveness team member, I put like 5 important aspects I see is very important. So humility, as at even Patrick Sony, 3 things, humility, be hungry, and smart. So I try to just separate some of them and maybe add one to them. So the humility is the most important one, actually. So when you choose someone or even improve yourself as a team member, as well as when you look to your colleague and we try work together to improve themselves, yourselves, just focusing on those 5 is really valuable. So humility, value others, that's some indicators of it. So you see this person is value others and they sharing the credits and caring for the team more than the ego or the him or herself alone. So you will see this when for example do something very good, those kind of people usually who is very humble, they saw the others contribution and value other contribution, as well as value the improvement for the whole team more than just themselves. Also strives for mastery, and we call it in Arabic ihsan. So that's those kind of people, they're not doing only things as excellence. They also have a sense of ownership and they try to do it as much to be good as possible. So, and to do that, usually they try to learn and to grow while doing this assignment or this project. So they go usually above and beyond. And the indicator is usually when they give them some assignment, they will do search, they will learn, even if they are experts in that, but still they like to learn and grow. The other is the emotional intelligence, understanding our feelings and controlling self-emotion. That's really an important aspect, because sometimes when they get very angry or very sad, it will affect the decision making, it will affect others, even the organization. So those people who have this emotional intelligence is really also a very important characteristics. Social intelligence, also how to understanding others and smart in dealing with others, and collaborate, communication, all of these things is really a part of the social intelligence. And there is another thing, when you want to work with a team, as I mentioned, the first important thing is to choose effective team members and shaping this effective teams. Even this more important even to the idea or the what you want to do. So let's imagine that you want to do a business or do something and you don't know what exactly to do, and you should start to finding other people who have shared values and shared interests for several things, and then start to emphasize about start to explore your capabilities, explore the market, explore what you can do. So that's even more important. Nowadays is not only to find some people who are just good in a specific product or specific specialization, but also those people who really align together and they can work together effectively. So that doesn't mean that also you have to understand also the value of the diversity and the inclusion of others. But also you have some shared values, so to do not to avoid some of the conflicts that will happen during the work, as well as interest in doing some things. So they are common shared values and interest with other team members. So then you have the team and you have the product, you have the some of the ideas and thoughts. Before to innovate or creative something is really important. And even if you are a project or organization dealing with the client, specific client, for example, it's really important to understand your customers and the client. So if it's an organization that you will provide the products to, you have to understand the organizations. If it's just a market, you have to understand the customer segments and who are those people you will identify and work for and you serve or you provide your products to. So understand them, identify the clients, and understand the the client's real needs and expectations. That will not happen without building trust, building relationship. And I really like the design thinking approach on understanding the clients and customers. So as you see here, it starts usually with empathy. So the importance, you have to understand the importance of feeling and the connect, trust, and relationship. Behaviors, main problems are significant main point or one significant point, main point. So observe their behaviors, try to explore that. And that maybe happen with some informal interviews. Listen to their feelings during those interviews and building that kind of good relationship with them. And based on that observation, informal, interviews, some interaction, maybe some data if it's available about them. Based on that, you have to create the client persona. That actually have some information about their professional as well as the personal needs. So all of them together, sometimes, who are they, how old are they, what they are doing, where they sleep, when they sleep, do they like to work, early morning or late nights. All these kind of stuff is really matter. And then define. During the defining phase, then ask what are the main challenges you have faced. And to understand this more, you have to ask about an incident, example, or story. Ask about their feelings and emphasize why questions. So and then explain, yeah, and it's bothering me. So why it's bother you? And then explain why you have to ask more about that. Why that? And why that? To dig in deep more to understand some of the root causes and what's behind of this need. And then after that, you will start to ideate and brainstorm ideas about how to serve them or a product that you will utilize, and then do prototypes, so innovate a product or a service as a sample of testable products. And then test this sample with some of these clients, and then after that, get their feedback, and then start do this over and over. I want to just also mention it's kind of organic a little bit. It doesn't mean that you have to do it as a project step by step. Now we will focus on empathy and then now define. It's kind of little bit organic, but maybe in the beginning we'll start a little bit in the empathy phase, and then a little bit more in defining phase for asking maybe formal interviews, and then after that the ideate, prototype, and test. And I really, if you want to learn more, there is a lot of things in the market and in the Google and the library about design thinking. And this is, sorry, I will go back again, but also about this stuff is really, if you look to the Flawless Consulting by Peter Black is really also a helpful book to deal with the client, understand the client, building this kind of relationship and the trust. So after you understand your clients more, understand the customers, understand their organizations or their market or their place or their environment or their society, now as together as a team, you want to, let's say, the aspirations, the dreams, and strategize some thoughts. So this is in the strategizing phase. To innovate that, I really like the appreciative inquiry. And appreciative inquiries, the philosophy behind it is shifting our focus from problems to possibilities, opens door to creative solutions and sustainable change. So cultivating, an optimistic mindset fosters innovation and fuels the momentum for positive change. So while acknowledging challenges, we have to, have that, yes, there is a problem, there is challenging, but while acknowledging challenges, framing them as opportunities, possibilities for growth, can inspire the achievable solutions and motivative actions. As David Cooperrider emphasizes, focusing on what works is the, cornerstone of appreciative inquiry, a powerful approach to creative, positive change. Because, in many times, if focusing on the problems, and then these problems, maybe just try to solve these problems without, sometimes even create another problem. So I don't know where, sometimes even personal issues or something. So that's why when you just, the organization sometimes just focus on the problems, and then the problems after that might create another problem and then another problem. So in this kind of, let's say, poor environment and a lot of challenges, a lot of problems, shifting the mindsets to focus, instead of focusing on problems, focusing more on possibilities and what we can do and what we can achieve is really an effective tool. And that's happened a lot. And I have many examples on how this helped. So, and this actually really emphasized the appreciative inquiry approach, and I have put the 4 stages. So in the beginning, start with the discovery, and the discovery is phase during that is really helpful to focus on sharing successful stories. So the people, for example, start the appreciative inquiry approach. Now we want to just share our successful stories, and this maybe even give some positivity of the workshop or the meeting, and then focus on the strengths and opportunities, and utilizing the strengths and opportunities in the dream. So based on the strengths, we have what can we achieve. So all these things together, all these opportunities, so what we can achieve, and then now dream on that. And after that, so, okay, this is our vision, this is the aspirations. So what are the goals now? And you start to put some goals and desired results to understand, okay, how I know I achieve this goal, I have to create, and write a desired results. And when you have these goals and desired results, then now the destiny, we're empowering and enabling with the right resources and right people to ensure that you will move forward. So, and then this also in the strategizing and planning, the overall strategy, you have to have a good strategy. I don't mean that a strategy that complicated. So just, in the organization, planners talk with the planners. No, you have to create an overall strategy that every employee in the organization can easily understand and align their work to this strategy. And I think utilizing also the appreciative inquiry activity results to help shape the overall strategy. And this strategy must be clear, straightforward, and appealing so that everyone in the organization can understand and be interested in. And this strategy, you have to have a clear vision. So how the company will be look like in 10 years. And a mission, what does the company is doing to achieve its vision. And then also, as I mentioned before, and maybe I will repeatedly say that the unique capabilities. What are the company's unique capabilities that enable it to compete and thrive? The unique capabilities is really the main that should be also in the strategy. So all the employees knows about this unique capabilities and work to refine these unique capabilities. And also, of course, values and clear goals. So what are essential goals shaping the company's roadmap? And now the other thing, which sometimes few people talk about in organization development, activity or thinking, which is the business model. Business model is really important to understand your organization as well as your client organization, and help to know the dynamic of the organization and the business to generate money as well as achieving the goals. And I really like Canvas business model, which is a one-page things, but you can make it bigger, you can shape it, but it is really emphasized in 9 elements. So the first one you have to focus on here is the customer segments. Who are the main groups of people or organizations that your business serves? Deep dive to understand your client. Value proposition. What products or services do you offer that solve a problem for your customers or provide them with a clear benefits? So refine and rely on your capabilities instead of products. So in the value proposition, instead of just focusing on a unique products, you have also focusing on unique capabilities. In unique capabilities, for example, if you have a car or a driver who the speed and try to achieve something, what really make this cars unique? So it's very fast. It can go to the sand, for example, but maybe not fast in like others. So those together, fast and ability to be in the sand, maybe you can do something others can't do. So, and then you have now the value proposition, the customer segments. So what are the channels? How do you reach your target customers and deliver your value proposition to them? And then what the customer relationships? What type of relationships do you have with your customers? How do you acquire, retain, and engage them? And then what are the key resources? What resources are critical for your business to function? These can be physical resources, intellectual property, financial resources, or human resources. And then you can say, okay, what are the key activities that we are doing? What are the most important activities? that your business needs to perform, to deliver its value proposition and generate revenue. And then the key partners. Who are your key partners? Sometimes main employees, sometimes clients, sometimes stakeholders, other companies. What resources and activities do they provide that are essential for your business model? And then the revenue streams. How does your business generate income? What are the different ways that your customers pay you? And lastly, the cost structure. So what are the costs associated with operating your business model? This can be fixed cost, variable costs, and economies of the scale. So those all 9 elements is really important to consider when you working together or have anything. Sometimes you may say, okay, I'm the only person, I'm only one person who is working, but also asking this about even your own business just for one person is also very significant and effective. Implementation of development and change. So in this stage, we want to talk about in this phase is you have the overall strategy. So what about the implementation? And this is where most people and many organizations really fail. Because the market is changing and they have strategies and they cannot align. So that's why it's very important to have, very clear things, all individuals, all employees understand and stick with it. Clear values, clear vision, clear goals, clear capabilities that is really fit with the market. So avoid focusing on small details during the implementation of planned change and development, and instead flexible and innovate with a strong alignment with the main goals. Collaborative and participative manner, that's also an important aspect in during this changing. And that also reminds me of, to emphasize about, to have objective key results instead of just generous goals, what the result that we want to achieve. And when we achieve it, that we know we achieve these goals. And to have also in the implementation a feedback loop. And those is really important to cover all these together. I mean, the customer, so have a weekly meeting, what we are doing with our customers. What about the finance? Is our, doing good and generate money and everything related to the finance? We have the costs, the revenue, everything is clear. What about the operation? The things that we have, the resources which we have, the people that we work with, the workforce, as well as focusing in learning and the growing, which is the innovation, creativity, working together, innovate, think out of the box, the organizational learning, theory, which is single loop and double loop, just think out, meet together instead of just, we have this problem and just let's solve it very fast. No, you want to step back a little bit and think together to innovate solution. So that's also in the learning and the growing phase. So it's all about how to grow, how to innovate, how to think out of the box. And also you have to continuous improvement. And there is a lot of things, like plan, do, check, act, adjust. And the idea of this, as I always mention, it's not about the tool. It's how to use this tool to help to collaborate and engage others and brainstorm together instead just one person work on it. So like a fishbone diagram. This tool helps to identify the root causes of a problem by mapping out all the potential causes or bones of the problems. And this can be a helpful tool for collaborative problem solving because it allows everyone involved to contribute their ideas and perspectives. 5 whys. This tool also has a simple but effective way to get to the root cause of problem. It involves ask why 5 times. So it's why, then and why, and then why, and then why. So to underline issues, this can be a helpful tool also for collaborative problem solving or improvement because it forces everyone involved to think critically about the problem and to consider all of the possibilities causes. SWOT analysis, the external factors and internal factors, the opportunities and the threats as external, and also the strengths and weaknesses as internal. So this tool helps to identify the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities. This can be helpful tool for also collaborative and engagement. So the whole idea is for these tools is not just to use it. You want to foster the environment and the culture that really emphasize the collaborative participation and collaborative engagement. And if you want to use appreciative inquiry instead of SWOT analysis, you can use SOAR analysis: strengths, opportunities, aspirations, and results. And now in the also implementation of development and change, the team building, which also very important during that. So yes, we mentioned in the beginning the team leadership and have the importance how the team, the most elements or characteristics that each member need to have, but also you have to have you need to have a team charter, and to have this activity work together and then brainstorm ideas to be focused, collaborate, and have a culture of care and trust, and so having clear process. So that's some of the elements maybe you might consider to focus on. So team goals and objectives. Ask yourselves, what are the team's overall goals and objectives? What are the team's key priorities for the next quarter of a year? How will the team measure its success, as well as the team's roles and responsibilities? Who is responsible for what? Each function's responsibilities, how we will work together, and also the team decision making. How will the team make decisions? What are the team's ground rules for decision making? How will the team ensure everyone's voice is heard? Communication and collaboration. That's also very important. The communication norms. How do we collaborate together? How many times we will do it? As well as the team values and culture. What are the team's core values? What kind of team culture does team want to create? How will the team promote values and culture? What behaviors that explain these values? So the values, how it will be translated in behaviors. Those all questions you might ask during this workshop to create a team charter, not only for you as together, but also for any employee will come. When they read the team charter, they will understand the norms and the chemistry of this organization. And if the organization is big, you need more than that. You need also to work on organization design. So you have an effective team, you have clear responsibilities, but the organization is really huge and big. So you need to consider more, which we will talk about now, the organization design. There is also another model, which called, the McKinsey 7 model, but I really like the STAR model because it's mentioned the strategy as well as also the capabilities under the strategy. There is a lot of things about it in linked learning and others, but the main elements we can, ask questions about and work on it. The strategy, as we mentioned in the beginning, and then based on this strategy, you will now align everything under it, the capabilities, the structure to align the capabilities and, the strategy, the capabilities that you wanted to be unique in, as well as the goals and visions. The structure, how should we organize? What are the key roles that we need to implement the strategy, the processes for everything from decision-making, the workflow, the management processes, everything related to the process, metrics and rewards, people, practices, what talent is needed. All of this is really important, and there is a bunch of things about the organization design. But if your organization is really big, you need also to have a well organization design. Organization design, sometimes anyone can do it. When a consultant do it or someone can do it, but to be effective, you have to do it in how the organization development approach, which involved everyone and brainstorm ideas and have everyone voice. And then after that, you will create it and maybe have someone, we call it golden vote, who will be held accountable, need to have this decision. And then give everyone space to make their decisions on their part of work. And now we will talk about the organizational culture, and this is a well-known in organization development because the founder or the first one to talk maybe about framing the organizational culture is Edgar Schein, and this is from Edgar Schein actually. So he explained that the artifacts. These are the visible symbols of the culture that can include anything from clothing styles to posters on the wall to the volume of speech. Even if not understood, the artifacts that last are typically deeply tied to the underlying culture. And then the values. These are the exposed values often found on company websites and also the area which has the greatest chance of being disconnected from the reality. And under that, which is really, difficult to explore, the basic assumptions. These are the beliefs that people use to make day-to-day decisions within an organization. For example, an assumptions may be that it is best to speak up when I have a good idea. Judging the assumptions and trade-offs people make on a day-to-day basis is often the quickest way to understand the real culture. So usually to understand the culture, the approach is in the qualitative research approach called ethnography. And this takes time to understand the culture of organization or society. You need to spend maybe 6 months, 1 year to do observation, interviews, informal interviews, interact with those in the society, with the people in that society, with this organization, and then during that process, you will identify some of the aspects and explore it more and more. In organization, you don't have all these times, and the market is changing very fast. So that's why I really tend to use the enhanced critical incident technique, which is what are the helping factors, and then have some incident and example and the story, and then ask why, digging deep in this interviews to collect as much as data as you can. But before that, you have to have a good relationship and trust with this person who will speak to you. And then ask about the challenging factors, as well as what the incident in this, as to explain this challenging factor. What's happened? Give me an example. Why it's bother you? And then what's behind of this reason? Why? And ask why again, and digging deep on that. So that also will explain. So stories usually tells a kind, a part of an important part of the culture. And now it's the evaluating and feedback, which is, I really like to use the organizational excellence, using the performance excellence model, which is the Malcolm Baldrige assessment. It's cover the leadership, strategy, customer focus, workforce focus, operation, knowledge management, and evaluations and results. And each of these elements, main or key component, there is several elements you will evaluate. There is a whole website in the NIST government. You can go to this website and discover more and more about it. But those is more on planning, strategizing, and be able to do things. So leadership, you have an effective leader team, you have a clear strategy, you understand your customers, you know how to deal with the customers, and then during the implementation, you have to work on, the workforce operations and focusing on the results. And of course, measuring, analysis, and knowledge management. And all of these things should be guided by core values and concepts of the organization. And then also the capabilities analysis, we call it. So what are in your organization? What the capabilities that you have? If it's a school, the transportation, the classrooms, the teachers, the finance, everything in the organization, and then do a SWOT analysis for each function, department, or sector. KPI, that's also focusing, as we mentioned before, customer finance, operation, learning, and growth, as well as in the culture with the values and behaviors supplying these values. And also always emphasize the team effectiveness, trust, aligned, and motivated team. Last phase, which is the revitalization and sustaining. And this is very important. And many organization development activities or approach also, or maybe even practitioners, they not focusing on this that much, but however, it's really important. It's really maybe the most important one to sustain and make sure this OD intervention is succeed. So you need to have in this organization a steering committee, so leaders and representatives for each initiative or anything that results from the OD activity. And also these steering committee they will make them difficult decision making and empowering and enabling others teams, who are the change champions, let's say. So having change champions, focusing on communication. You have a clear and a solid feedback system to ensure the development, make sure the alignment and connections, and use bottom-up approach of change, which means the people who interact with the clients need to speak up and say what they face and also innovate some ideas. And then maybe the decision makers will take these and try to refine them and give it back to those people who work directly with the customers. And you need also to have an OD and change team. So maybe someone external, if it's a consultant, and internal from the function. So even if it's in the organization, consider the OD practitioner or the change champion, the facilitator as an external, and from each function, department, and maybe sector has a someone as internal to work with the OD person. And also focusing on the OD values and concepts. You can see, Dr. Yuan 9 OD values and think about it: courageous leadership, strategic particularly, and other values. Ensuring alignment, facilitating the initiatives, ensuring customers focus, and having a change champions are appointed for each function and or initiative responsibility. Now we will just talk about the considerations. So you need to have, the leader support and involvement. The head, the CEO, or the board members of the organization, or the one who will make decision and influence in this team organization need to be involved. So it will be very difficult to succeed if senior leaders not involved and support the strategic change and development process. Also, every leader needs to wear the OD hat. Leaders and change agents must embrace OD values and concepts also. So to have the OD hat, need to have a strong OD values. So awareness of self and system, integrity, continuous learning and innovation, courageous leadership, diversity, collaborative engagement, trust and respect, client growth and development, and strategic particularity, which is, you can search more in the Dr. Yuan Fairley and the article. You will find more, they dig deep more on the OD values. So every leader needs also to embrace these OD values to succeed in the leading strategic change and development. The role of organization development practitioners is not to solve problems from their own perspectives, but to assist and empower teams and organizations in working together to address challenges and solve complex problems. So the OD approach intervention is a systematic effort to change and develop in a participatory and collaborative manner. So any OD intervention must adhere to action research phases. So entry phase emphasize the relationship, trust, understanding the organization. Then inquiry phase, they can deep more, but while also focusing on relationship, trust, and with people. And then evaluate, then strategize together, of course, collaboratively, implement, and then evaluate again, and do the feedback, and then come up with the new strategies, implement them, and then evaluate them again. And so the evaluation should be ongoing, as well as changing and developing the strategies. So OD approach, following action research, also a strategic thing while leading strategic change and development. This is just a summary. Make sure to have an excellent team, rely on distinctive capabilities and understanding customers' true needs, emphasize team members' empowerment, embrace a collaborative and participatory development and change efforts, ensure internal and external alignment, adhere to OD values and action research steps. So last one, which is I want to emphasize more about team members, empowering team members to reflect to the changes by collaborative tools and a clear strategy that allow them to innovate, but also align on the company goals and visions. That's all that I have in this presentation. Maybe I took more time, 5 minutes more. Okay.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fahad. To save our time and participants also attendees time, we have a couple of questions. The first question is about, isn't it important to understand organization design, and he means the purpose of the organization and its current state as we move forward to implement various points of your strategy?
Yeah, we actually emphasize that the understanding of the organization, not only the design, but also the culture, the goals, as well as the clients or the people. When I say clients, not means the customers too, but also the organization that you want to develop. Maybe consider those as a client organization. So understanding that, understanding the people, identify the people who make decisions, the culture, the environment, all of these is really important. As we mentioned, strategy, business development, unique capabilities, the team, as well as the culture of the organization, all of them is really important to understand, comprehend, and consider while doing the developing. Remember, organization development intervention is all about systems theory. So everything is connected to each other. So when you do small things, even one person might affect everything, and else, of course, other things and external factors as well as it will influence even small things and even every individual.
Thank you so much, Dr. Farhad. The second question was about where do you believe the internal OD practitioner should report within its organization to be effective organization-wide?
The upper management. And even if upper management, I mean the CEO or the director, as well as the sometimes, and even the board members too. So if I have when I deal some organization, you need just, it's very big, very huge, and the department has their authority to do many things. So just consider that leader. But some organizations, even the CEO cannot make that decisions. So you have to report to the board members of the organization or the company. So as upper as possible, without the blessing and support from the top management to every single thing that you do as OD practitioner, it really will be difficult to succeed in the intervention.
Thank you so much, Dr. Farhad. And I got a comment here, it's not a question, for someone saying there are a lot of approaches and new information that they receive today in the presentations, and they will try to keep an eye on them to apply them in their coming positions that they're going to start very soon. And also we have another questions about, from those approaches or steps that you talked about, from your experience being an OD practitioner in your current or previous job, what is the most important priority that you think is very important to consider while planning those strategic process?
Yeah, get the upper support, be positive, and considers others' ideas and thoughts. So those three is really important to do, because you need to collaborate with others, you need the upper management, and stay positive as much as you can.
Thank you so much. I think this embraces your feedback regarding the importance of teamwork, collaboration, cooperation internally, externally with the team task force. Thank you so much, Dr. Fahad. Thank you, everyone. On behalf of our
one thing I want to say is for the element of the all these tools, yes, I give high level, but if you just search about it, you will see a lot actually in the library.
Thank you so much. So on behalf of our OD&C Workforce Education Program, we hope you think that this webinar is helpful. If we did not get to your questions yet, please send us an email or reach out to the presenter directly via email or the social media that we used. For the future webinar, we would like you to hear your feedback on today's webinar. Please take a moment to using to just do the survey using the link in the chat box. Our next webinar is about dialogic organization development and the generative change model by Dr. Gerbes Bosch on January 26, 2024 at the same time, 12 o'clock Eastern timing. Registration, as you know, for all events are free and can be found on our website. You can also find us on our social media platform, such as Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. Again, thank you everyone for joining us today, and we hope to see you soon. Have a good day and have a good night to our guests from other time zones.